Well, let's talk a little bit about paper beads. I don't think that's a substance that most people think of as a bead-worthy kind of thing. I can see you're wearing a whole bunch of them. I mean, I think you've got probably a dozen necklaces on and great bracelets and really beautiful, colorful, shiny, striped beads. Really, really handsome.
Well, what was a resource commonly available, posters, magazines, banners, they cut them up, roll them into beads, and they raise out of poverty.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, tell us a little about, Helen mentioned that you decided that this was an opportunity to market these beads and help these women and spread the message, obviously. But how do you start? How do you, when you had the idea, as you say, you were looking for something else, you're there, you see the beads, how do you do the very first thing?
Well, it started with an intention, the power of intention, and it started before I ever went to Africa. My dear friend Ginny Jordan, my grown daughter Devin Hibbard, and I sat down knowing I was going with my husband to Africa, and we said, there must be something to do. You know, there's a lot of problems in Africa. Let's stop saying, ain't it awful, and let's do something. Right. So we had in mind to do a project. They came to visit me, and while they were with me, we were walking through a slum. We saw a woman sitting in the dust, and she was doing something with her hands. We were curious. We stopped. And it turned out she had learned to roll paper beads 3 or 4 years before. But she lived and worked in a rock quarry. She made $1 a day for working hard in the sun all day long. We heard her story, and we bought a few necklaces, and we went on our way. But then what happened is people started saying, oh, I like that necklace. And we started thinking, well, she could sell these. So we went back to the slum, we looked up and down, we finally found her, and she said that she had a few girlfriends who also knew how to roll beads. Mm-hmm. So we arranged the next day to meet up. 30 women and about 75 children showed up, most of whom worked in the rock quarry. Yeah. And so we thought, well, we can do something. So we came back to the United States. We brought, I don't know, 100 beads. And we started asking here in Boulder, do you like these? We took them to shops. We took them to the library. Mm-hmm. I took them to dinner parties. And everybody kept putting them on. But the thing we noticed was they loved the stories. Tell me about the woman who made these. What's her life like? She's a refugee from the war in the North. She's suffering from AIDS. Mm-hmm. Her 4-year-old died of malaria. We knew about the power of story, and we knew about intimacy and love and caring. So we decided that the only way we could sell them was woman to woman, in homes, in churches, schools, and so we invented the bead party.
It's like a Tupperware party kind of a thing, or something like that.
Yeah,
Right?
kind of like a Tupperware party.
I mean, I don't even know if those exist. I certainly have never been to one.
Well, the bead party...
I don't mean to impugn your great product by associating with Tupperware.
No, hey, you know what? Tupperware, little did I know, but they blazed a trail.
Yeah.
And we followed. But the bead party is a party with a purpose. And the hostess doesn't actually get paid anything. But the bead party is a fabulous opportunity for friends to get together in homes, schools, book clubs, at fairs. And the bead party allows people to have a good time and to make a difference. Mm-hmm. And so we support the bead party hostess. We send her what we call the bead party pack. Several hundred beautiful items, DVD of the African women dancing and speaking to them directly. It's got a CD, recipes to make yummy food. Wow. So we make it easy for the hostess. And the stories,
too, I suspect.
Bios, absolutely. Because the stories, you hear about a woman and her struggle, and you're inspired, and you think, well, I can do something. And the other thing about the bead party, Nick, is that generosity feels good. Yeah. It feels great when you have done something and you know at the end of your party that you've actually changed some lives. And you have. You've actually changed a whole lot of people's lives. So how often do you get an opportunity to do that?
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that, the life-changing aspect. So you've at the bead parties, you sell a bunch of beads and raise a bunch of dough, and then how much of that goes back to the families? And then tell us some of the stories about the women whose lives have been, lifted up by your work.
Well, to get into our project, you have to be living on $1 a day. To live on $1 a day means the only thing you can afford is the cheapest carbohydrate. and nothing else. No transport to the hospital, not an aspirin, no school fees. So immediately, our basic program is income generation. So a woman who is making $1 a day, once she starts rolling beads, we buy the beads from her twice a month, she can make $240 a month.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. And that money we put right into a savings account. She can go get it the next day if she wants to, but it allows her to preserve that money and start to save, which if you think about it, all of us get ahead because our parents could save. We could go to camp, we could have a book, we could have opportunity. So people who have lived on $1 a day don't know anything about money. They've never had any savings. And we spend a long time helping women become business women, entrepreneurs. Our program lasts 18 months. At the end of that, you have to graduate so another impoverished woman can come in.
Okay.
So during that time, you learn about numeracy and literacy, and you start studying basic things like importance of location for a business and how to keep your books. And you make a business plan and you launch a business with a sum of money that you have saved while you were in the program. So wow. Bead for Life doesn't have any handouts. We trade, and that way everyone can stay proud, and we work towards the independence of the women.
And what are some of the other kinds of businesses that have been started?
Oh, they do all kinds of things. They have little restaurants and refreshment stands. They have goats and chickens. They, one woman started a brick factory and now employs 14 men. 4 of them went together, started a lumber company. So all kinds of things. And you know, in Africa, the way is to have several small businesses at one time.
Yeah.
So then if one fails, you've got something else going on.
Right.
And our goal is that they're independent of Bead for Life. Yeah. That they leave, they're on their own feet, they can feed their children, they can send them to school, and they've broken that cycle of poverty.
And how much is of the funds that are raised are necessary for your administrative costs and transport and so on?
Over 90% of what we bring in goes right back into program, and we're really proud of that.
That's cool. What a great community you've built.
Oh, well, it's my great pleasure.
No, we're so proud of you. Thanks for sharing your story. We've got a framed eChievement Award certificate for you, and you can share that with your co-founders and your volunteers and your Bead Party folks. That's this week's winner of the eChievement Award, Torkin Wakefield, co-founder of the nonprofit Bead for Life. What a great story, what a great bunch of stories. And it keeps on going. Congratulations, Torkin.